Happy Tuesday! Welcome to another craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners, and I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. Alright, we are continuing our embroidery of the month. It's the Winter Love one right here, Winter Love Snowflake, and we have almost all of the white chain stitch done. So that is what we're going to continue tonight. That should get done pretty quick, and then we'll start on some of this light blue back stitching for this. So thanks again for joining. Let's get going here. All right, I'm going to scoot you down again. And okay, so where we left off is the chain stitch circle here. So I have I have 3 loops left, 2 big ones and a small one. So I think I may have enough with the thread that we have left over to do that. So let's try and crank through that quickly here. Hope everyone had a lovely Tuesday. In my head, it's still like way further in the week, so I'm like, is it even Tuesday? I've asked myself that like 4 times already today. Just one of those days, I guess. I feel like I kind of got a lot done, though. I did not have power breakfast, but I had power dinner, so feeling good. That just basically means a healthy breakfast and dinner to prep for the day, and you know, usually kind of slogs off at the end of the day, but I kind of switched the days around. Had kind of, I don't know, stupid stuff for breakfast and yummy stuff for dinner. All right, I'm doing that reverse chain stitch again. If I didn't want to do reverse chain stitch anymore, I could start from here and go this direction, but I'm going to do the reverse chain stitch again. So I'm coming up a stitch length away here and swooping under the last 2 stitches. Which seem weird. Okay, that seemed like I couldn't swoop underneath them. There, felt funny. All right. I'm going to do that trick when I get to the top of this loop again, where I kind of tack down that stitch. That worked really well last night, I think. Holding everything in place. So let me know how your guys' day went. I would still call it late fall, not quite winter. It's been it's cold out now, but like it's not winter cold. And it's still nice to walk around, still comfortable, still beautiful. There's trees that still have their leaves on. So this is already getting twisty. I'm going to just let it dangle a little bit there. All right. Scooching around this first curve. I cleaned all weekend, so like my hand's all beat up. It's got just red marks all over. I cleaned up the basement for like a good, well, actually the bulk of the house all Sunday. Sunday was kind of like, I need to get everything back in line, like now. So I got all scraped up, moving stuff around and rearranging and cleaning. Always scuffing up my hands. Swooping under those stitches. So tonight we'll start, we're almost done with this reverse chain stitch, so we'll start up on the back stitches, so all of these lines coming out. And we'll do the little lazy daisies as we're doing them. And the lazy daisy stitches are very similar to the chain stitches that we're doing right now. So maybe we'll do some of those today. This will feel like we got a ton done, though, I think, just getting this white, even though it's like invisible on the light colored fabric, but it does add a lot of texture, I think, to the final piece. But yep, we're gonna break out a color today. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. Kimberly says, well, your nails look beautiful even if you wreck them on the weekends. I know. I have to. Well, they're getting drier and drier again. This is day 2. Usually after day 2, I have to redo them all again, which is a bummer. And I literally cannot get them longer than this. I think this is the longest my thumbnails have ever been. I just do too much with my hands, I think, and they just get, wrecked on the weekend. Maybe I need to. I don't paint them on the weekend. I just kind of let them start flaking off. And I don't know, maybe if I painted them on the weekend too, which would be annoying. But if I did that, maybe they'd break less when I'm using my hands all the time. But yeah, like cleaning and I don't know, just like making boxes and stuff for orders, that sort of thing, kind of erodes the polish and the tip of the nail. So I don't know, doing my best to have them grow and be nice, but I'm not the greatest at that. All right, so here's this tight curve. This is where I'm going to add that extra little stitch so it tacks it up on top. So actually I'm going to go back in the same spot, but before I pull all the way through, I'm going to come up kind of where that last stitch was and pull it through. So now my thread will be at the top of that loop, and I'm going to just put a tiny, tiny little stitch on the other side of that loop, and that will hold it down. So now my loop won't like fall over the last stitch, kind of like how it's doing here. I didn't tack this one down, so it's falling a little bit below. I'm going to just kind of shush it back up there. But since like about, I think here, I started tacking them down, and that's been working way nice. So that's never going to fall down. I should maybe have done those on these bigger ones too, but I'm kind of sticking just to these little ones. And then I can just start up where I left off. But that's been working super well. I'm going to do that anytime I have a chain stitch with a tight curve like that from now on. It doesn't really matter what side you go underneath from, like from the left or right or top or bottom or whatever. I'm just going to the side that feels easiest. One more loop. I don't know if I'll have enough floss for this. I mean, it looks like I have a ton of floss still, but chain stitching uses up so much floss, so I can't gauge if I'll have enough or not yet. We'll see. Oh, you can't see what we're making, Elena. Oh yeah, or Elna. It's because we're doing white on white right now, so it's hard to tell. But this is what the final is going to look like. This is my sample piece. So this is it's the Winter Love Snowflake Embroidery, kind of to go with our Mandala Love embroidery kit, which a lot of you guys liked, just the kind of like the mandala look. So I wanted to do that, but with a snowflake. And maybe a little less detailed than that other one, so this one will get done a lot faster. But we got like some satin stitches, some French knots, lazy daisies, chain stitches, and back stitches in this guy. So a nice, pretty, light, bluey, icy snowflake. So we're starting from the center. I'm working on all of those little white chain stitches right now. We're just about done. Next, I'll be switching to blue, and then we'll have a lot of color. But yep, it's a snowflake. This is our November. I almost said December. We're not quite there yet, but it's our November embroidery of the month. every third full week of the month, we stitch up the embroidery of the month here. I'm just rotating again, so it's like rotating the whole piece just so it's comfortable in my hand here. I might do an art trade, Ellie. Send me a message. Oop, there again. Just couldn't get quite on the line there. Hey Denise, we are making a snowflake embroidery. Ultimately, I don't know quite what we're making. Right now, it's just going to be a framed embroidery, but I think I talked about it a little bit of an idea last night. Oh, Gina says it would be pretty. It would be pretty for a soft pillow. Oh, that's true. I'm kind of thinking I'd like to sew another piece of fabric to the back and have it kind of like the shape, like a bump out shape, and kind of have it be like a soft Christmas ornament, I'm thinking. Like put a little ribbon on the top. I mean, I have the ribbon from the kit still, so like I could put that here and sew it onto a piece of another piece of fabric, and maybe with some batting or something on the inside. And it'd be kind of a, I mean, it'd be a big ornament, but not that crazy size, and then I could have like a little date on the back or something. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now, just because then it's a small finished piece. We've been doing a lot of bags lately, which I love. I love making like zipper pouches and tote bags and stuff out of these embroideries, but I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like a small project like that. This one's not going to be a blanket. Sorry, I think the comments are just a little late here, but a little delay. However, I think there are a lot of people in our group, or a lot of people who are stitching, or maybe not a lot, a couple, let's say a couple people who are turning some of these embroideries into a blanket. I do have a bunch of them, a bunch of these embroideries. I'm thinking next year we got to start an embroidered quilt project, so I don't know, maybe we will start a blanket soon. We have a pile of quilt projects that I'm trying to finish up. They're all kind of at the quilting, the finishing sort of stage. I need all those out the door. I'm just feeling like it's time to get old projects done and fresh projects cracking here. Oh, that's a cute idea, Kimberly. Kimberly says, how about making it for the top of a tree? So like a tree topper. Oh, it would be like a really good size for that. Huh. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have so many cones of like my floss cones. So in our shop, we sell those really, really big, like the 21, like they're literally like this big. I think it's 2,100, so 2,100 meters of floss on one cone versus like this, which is 4 meters. A typical skein is 8 meters. This one's a little bit smaller. This is a 4-meter skein. So 2,100 meters are on one of those cones. And we use them, before we had our own embroidery floss skeins, we used up a ton of that. And I have so many cones, so I could use a cone, an empty cone, as like the tree topper bottom that like sits on the tree, top of the tree, and then we could stick this on top of that somehow. That would kind of work maybe. Elna, this is I'm doing a reverse chain stitch, so it's just a variation of a chain stitch. It is very literally like going in reverse order. Like we started with our anchor stitch and then we are kind of swooping underneath the stitch. So I only have one more to do. So here's how you end the reverse chain stitch. You come up in that first chain where we started. Do our final swoop under. So our final swoop under the chain that came before, and then back in the same spot there. And it looks like it just continues. You can't tell. Like, there's no way you'd be able to tell that we started and stopped right there. It just blends right in. So that is it. We are done with the reverse chain stitch on this guy. So I'm going to just weave in the ends here. And I like stitching where I don't have any knots on the back. I do that by weaving in the ends here. Oh, Wormy says, I saw you yesterday when I started. Yep, so this is day 2 of this. I suspect, or expect, we'll see, that this is going to take about 5 hours to stitch. So I'm going to be stitching it Monday through Friday this week. I start at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Was that 2 or 3 times? I guess I'll go one more time. I'm not counting. Usually I go back and forth 3 times. That kind of locks it in. This might be 4. I don't remember how many I did. So, all right. Let's snip that. Oh, we could do a 6. Yes, okay. Kimberly's saying yes. Make it 6-sided. 6-sided, then make a pocket for the back. Oh, put it in the cone. So, okay. So I'm just thinking. I'd have to stitch a whole nother one. I could just do it 2-sided, really. So I could do it this on one side, and then another one on the other. I'd have to stitch a whole one because I want one for a sample still. But those could be back to back, and I could just leave a bottom open, and that's where the cone could go into. So the cone, like I could just make a pocket of 2 like that, and then the cone would go in. Then it would be a good tree topper. That'd probably be enough. 6-sided, how would I do that? It would just be like a ball almost, I suppose. Make the back plain unless folks see the back. That's true. You guys, we don't even get a Christmas tree. This is for a theoretical Christmas tree, but my parents might get a Christmas tree. They usually do a Christmas tree. So maybe I can make it for that. I almost said cake topper. A tree topper for their Christmas tree. All right, we're moving on here. Done with that chain stitch. Okay, what else? So now I think I'm going to I'm going to start this light blue. That's the winter morning color. I think we'll just, I don't know, start on one of these fellers and start stitching up. And then when we hit one of these lazy daisy stitches, we'll stitch those and then keep going up, kind of get these guys, and then end up at the top here. And then we'll probably just jump right over here. So I'll have some big jumps on the back, but whatever. That's fine. So, all right, and that's the winter morning color. I do have 2 skeins included in the kit just because this does take quite a bit. Oh, no, use the long edges as if I'm doing 6. So like a soccer ball. I can't quite picture that. I get it. I get the idea of 6. I just can't quite picture it. I do understand though. I think it really. All right. Here we go. So I'm gonna start off with getting like my 24 inches or so of thread. That looks good. Let's snip. And we'll get our 3 strands out of there. So again, I'm just pulling a strand one at a time, and just pulling it right out. I feel like this is still the fastest and the least likely to have knots as you do it, to get knots or twists and stuff while you do it. I'm stitching with like 24 inches though. I wouldn't do a longer piece and try and pull it out like this. I mean, you probably could, but I don't know. Don't really need a longer piece than 24 inches anyway. That's, I don't know, just right for me. Longer thread can get worn out from going through the fabric so much, just like the friction from going through the fabric. So you don't always want like a long piece of thread. All right, I'm just cleaning up the ends here. And we will do the little pinch method. Just thread this guy. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna start right here. I'm just picking one. Let's just start here. Or I could start in the middle. Should I start in the middle? Well, you know what? I'm gonna start here, and then we'll just kind of end in the middle. The reason I'm starting here is then I can weave in the ends of stitches that are already existing, versus here, I don't have any prior stitches very close. So, and what I mean by that is instead of starting with a knot, I'm gonna just weave into the ends here. So I'm gonna weave back and forth my 3 times again. Not the ends, the backs of the stitches, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so 1, grabbing as many things as I can. 2, and 3. There we go. Oh, I guess we do have a little, we have a little fake Christmas tree, Kimberly. I'll have to bring that up. It's time. People are decorating for Christmas already, right? So I think I have one, like a little Charlie Brown small tree. Oh, no, I forgot where I was. Okay, right here. A small tree packed away somewhere. I know where. In the basement in a bin. I just have to find the right bin. But yeah, I should break that out. Yeah, and then we can use that to model our little tree topper here, but I do like that idea. I might have to stitch another one. Oh, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have to stitch a whole nother one of these. I could just use a different color for the back, and that would be fine. Oh, I like that idea. Okay, we might be making a tree topper out of this. So, all right, I'm going to do the back stitch right now. So I came up about a stitch length away from where I'm going to start. So I'm starting here and I'm going this way. So for a back stitch, I'm starting a stitch up about 1/8 of an inch or so. However big you want your stitches, it's whatever is fine. And then I'm going to go backwards towards the beginning of the row for my first stitch. There we go. And second stitch, I'm coming up a stitch length away from the starting point. And I'm going to go over, we're making this look like it's in front of all our swirly stuff, so that's why we did it, the swirls first. Because I'm going to go right over the top of those swirls, and then I'm going to go right back in our first starting hole where that first stitch is. There we go, that's our second stitch. And we're just going to keep going like that for the back stitch here. However, our back stitch is a little bit interrupted by these lazy daisy stitches, or like single chain stitches. So that is very similar to how we did our chain stitch here, but we're just doing one. So I'm going to start right at the tip, like the point, where it connects to... oh, did we ever learn what these are? Like the stalk of the crystal? I was going to look up snowflake anatomy last night, but I didn't. So I'm going around, like I'm making like a loop. It's kind of the same shape as this shape here that we're going to stitch. I'm kind of going in the same direction, and I'm going to go in that exact same hole that I started out in the stitch, and I'm going to go just a little bit, and then I'm going to come up at the like apex, the farthest away, point of that arc. I'm just tightening this again. I'm going to hold my first thread kind of tight with my finger. So I've come up in the middle of the loop here, and then I'm going to pull, and again I'm going to leave this a little bit loose, so my thread that I'm pulling on here is going to stop that arc in place. Like otherwise it would just keep pulling to nothing, but it's being stopped by this thread. And I'm not pulling it tight, I'm leaving it loose so I get that like teardrop shape. And then I'm going to put the tiniest little stitch right on the other side of the loop. That's called an anchor stitch, and that's just going to hold it in place. So there we go. That's our first single chain stitch or lazy daisy stitch right there. So the next one, to get to the other side, I'm going to come up in that same hole again. Okay, make that arc in the shape of our loop here. I like holding the thread so it doesn't go back into the back of the embroidery when I pull the needle down through. But I went in the same hole again there. Then up, before I get too far, I'm going up at the apex of that arc again, inside my loop. And then we're pulling on that and till the thread stops it, but we're letting it be loose. I'm not pulling it super tight. And then we'll tack it down with that tiny anchor stitch again, just on the other side of that loop. And there we go, our first little like lazy daisy shenanigans there. Okay, and then I can just continue where I left off with the back stitch. I'm coming up the line here, the middle of these two guys, and then finishing that last stitch. What I like about doing the lazy daisy stitches before I do the back stitch is that now this back stitch goes over the top of where that hole is, and I don't know, I think it just looks nice and clean. Oh, yep, I have my tatted snowflake too. Yeah, and I'm dying to make more of those. I haven't done any more tatting since we did it here. Gosh, that was a couple weeks ago already, wasn't it? That was like 3 weeks ago. Oh my gosh. Was it? Yeah, that was a little while ago already. Oh my God. So I want to do more of that. I just haven't had like a moment to just like chill and watch TV and try the tatting some more. I did order some tatting shuttles though that I'll put in the shop when they come, that are bright and colorful, and I'm hoping they're nice. So we'll give that a try. But yeah, I kind of want to make like a pile more of those little snowflakes. And I have only done that simple snowflake. I do want to get into like maybe more intricate tatting. I think that'd be kind of fun. Wormy, so I'm thinking I'm gonna make a Christmas tree topper out of this when I'm done. But other things that I've done with embroideries is, you know, you can stitch it onto clothing. Like this is the one where I stitched that patch on that I made. So you can stitch it onto clothing. We've made zipper pouches, and tote bags are a go-to thing that I like making with embroidery. And let's see, oh, like pillows, and then you can put them in a quilt or anything like that too. A lot of times I just like doing it for the sake of it's enjoyable just to stitch. And a lot of times I'll frame it right in the embroidery hoop too. Like you can just put a little ribbon on top and hang it up just like this. So I have a few of those in my office just to look cute, to decorate the office, just little circles in the hoop. What else have we made? I've stitched some onto scarves before. I've stitched onto shoes. Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. I do have a pair of Converse that I've been kind of thinking might be fun to stitch onto. I'm a little scared to do that though, because it's hard to go through thick fabric like that. But if I have like the right tools nearby, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Oh yes, Gretchen says your cards. Yes, so we've stitched onto greeting cards. That'd be fun. Oh, tatting. Tatting is almost a lost, or not many people do it anymore. I totally agree. So I had gotten a kit. I think I have mine. Oh, I have it sitting over here. Let me grab it. This is what we did the other day for tatting. So this is actually the pattern. It looks like Morse code, but this is actually the pattern. And this is like my second time tatting, and I want to do like way more of it. So here's the little snowflake. So I never finished this yet, you guys. Oh, I don't have it attached to the tatting shuttle anymore. So I have to tuck in all these threads still. And then I want to starch it, because I would like to make these little points like a little pointier. All of these points, I think I want to make a little pointier. And I think this will look more like a octagon, or hexagon, I mean, in the middle here after I starch it. and tuck in the threads, and then, I don't know, tie a little... Oh, I know, this is just like we're saying a bunch of funny phrases for sure. It's its own vocabulary, all of this stuff for sure. All right, so yeah, I want to finish this. I'll just tie a little string onto one of these points. But yeah, so this is what we tatted. It's basically a ton of tiny little knots that you... This is a tatting shuttle, which is like some crazy device, and it looks like, I mean, your hands go like, and there's like thread everywhere, and then all of a sudden you end up with this. It's kind of crazy. It was such a mystery to me. So we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, and we're like, man, I'm gonna try that again. So we did that tatting piece, that little tiny snowflake. I had to learn it. How to do it again that afternoon, and give it a try again. But yeah, it's going to be the same colors as this. It would totally match this, so it'd be fun. Oh, Luella. So I did. Luella is saying I could never figure it out how to tat. I tried so many times. So I'm totally with you. I got a kit, like I said, 10 years ago or so, and just took me ages to figure out, and I remember it being so frustrating and such like a mystery. But I tried it again. Had a just, you know, I kind of got the idea after a while, you know, the 10 years ago when I did it. But I had to just like re-educate myself a little bit. We do have, and now I think it's just really fun, and I get it, but there's a few little things that you have to understand with it, otherwise it's just not going to work at all. So, oh, you have a kit. So over on YouTube, my YouTube, it was a live, so it would be in my live category. I mean, most of my YouTubes are live, but the title of the category is like lives. If you go back on there, we did 2 sessions of it a couple weeks ago, and we did it here on TikTok as well, but those aren't, like, you can't look at old lives. I might actually do some how-to TikToks on it, because it was really fun, and it is kind of, once you get like the movement of the shuttle and the movement of like flipping your knot. I know that all sounds crazy, but then the rest is easy after that. It's just that first little bit of like, what the heck is even happening here? I don't understand it at all. After you get past that, then it's easy. I mean, that's a silly thing to say, but there is, like with tatting, there is just some specific movements. So yeah, I would check out, just like for a super beginner, and it's live, so you can go do it with me. It's not edited, but that might be helpful over on YouTube. And we did keep it basic. Like this is what we did on day 2. I was actually on for a really long time on day 2, and this is still like beginner. This doesn't use like all the techniques. This is just still using like beginner techniques. And so I have the pattern for that, and within the video. And the first day, the day before that, we did do a little bit of just like learning how to use the shuttle and wind the shuttle and all that. So yep, so check that out. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, I just jumped on over to this other row here. So I don't always make huge jumps like this on the back, you know, like jumping all the way from here to there. But I figure, otherwise I'd have to like weave in the end down here and then come up here if I didn't want all those big jumps on the back. But we're already kind of talking that maybe I'll make this into a tree topper, so no one's ever going to see the back. If I was stitching this on like a tea towel, I might, instead of jumping here, I might have started with a fresh piece of thread, because I'm almost done with it anyway, to do this next row. Or I would have taken the thread gone in the backs of all these stitches, gone in the backs of these stitches, and then started down here, then you wouldn't have seen this big leap. But since we are most likely going to turn this into something that has a back to it, I kind of don't care. Don't care as much, I guess. Almost out of floss. We'll do a few more stitches. So these have some cute little French knots on the end. This one, these little dots here, but that's a different color. They're actually all white, so we'll have to, I thought we were done with the white, but nope, we have all these little dots are, on the snowflake part are white. So when we're done with all this, we'll come back. So you could probably do these little side ones in one big stitch, but I'm doing two. Kind of keeping my stitches similar. Oh, thanks, Luella. Luella says the colors in that piece are lovely. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, tatting is totally a beautiful art. We have I don't have, but my parents have. Oh gosh, where did that go? They just moved like just over a year ago. So I don't know where this went, but it might even be hanging up. I just can't place it in my head. But my great-grandmother did a tatted piece, and actually it's really a whole lot like this. It's like a six-sided kind of flower, but like a bunch of them. So like if one's here, the next one's here, like a whole kind of like grid of all these flowers, and it kind of made a piece about this big, all of them together. Just with white, like that white little tatting or crochet kind of floss thread. And that's really pretty. And so that's framed somewhere at my parents' house. I'm gonna have to find it. Next time I'm visiting, I'll take a photo of it so you guys can see. So she did that, and that is the only like in real life example of tatting that I've seen. Yeah. So therefore, it wasn't like a big craft in the family, I don't think, because my other grandma, she crochets and knits and sewed and all that, and my mom does the same, but no one really, I never saw either of them tat ever. Ooh, gosh, I'm like way out of thread. I should have wove this in. I got talking and ran out of thread here, so hopefully I have enough to weave in the end. We'll see. So I want to weave it 3 times. I might have to do that thing where when I have a really, really short piece of thread, I put the eye of the needle in first. Oh, Luella says, I'm 67 and tatting has been something I want to learn. Oh, you're self-taught crocheter. You make doilies. Ugh, okay. That's one of my favorite things to crochet. First of all, I don't have enough thread or like my thread to like turn my needle around again, so I'm going to go in and weave the rest of this with the back of the needle, so the eye of the needle. So when you don't have enough thread, you can do that. But yeah, my grandma crocheted tons and tons of super delicate doilies, and they had doilies like just all over the house because she just kept making them. And presumably she liked them. But they're all pretty similar. They had like a pineapple, it's called a pineapple pattern. It doesn't necessarily really look like a pineapple. It's kind of like this heart shape almost. But it's called like a pineapple design. And she had like the pattern printed out from, some little magazine from a zillion years ago. And I have her pattern of that, and I have like her old crochet needles and stuff that I got after she passed away. And I freaking love making those doilies, like the same doilies that she used to make. And I haven't done one in a while, and I should pick one up again. I get the urge to do that every few years. I'm like, I gotta make another one of those doilies. They're just such good mega chill out projects where your brain still has to be occupied just enough, and they're just fun. So I actually have like a stack of doilies because I don't necessarily want them in my house, except for as like maybe art pieces. So I just have a stack of them stored just because I like making them. But I do have I do have a couple that my grandma made, and I made one with all of her leftover thread, and it was a couple different colors, which she wouldn't have combined like white with an extra like color here or there just randomly. But I did because I was just using up the stuff that I had from her, and I kind of want to frame both of those so they're like an art piece like next to each other, because they're almost the same size. One's a little bit bigger, so I want like a slightly bigger frame for that. But like, like a, what do they call that? Those like floating framey things where they're a little thicker. What are those called? A shadow box, like a shadow box. So I don't know. I gotta find someone that can make, like, I have a clear idea of what this frame is. It's just like a light colored wood that's thin, and then like, this thick shadow box, and then they'd both be in there. Yep, Kimberly, yep, a shadow box. So I'd love to do those two as like a series next to each other. Mine that I made with my grandma's floss, and then the one that my grandma made. I think I'd probably have to starch them both again. But anyway, that's been in the back of my head for at least a decade that I wanted to do that with those two doilies, and I just haven't pursued it yet. Maybe 2022 is the year, people. Maybe that's going to be the year of like me finally getting that project done. All right, I think I'm going to jump. I have a bunch of thread here yet. I think I'm going to jump down here and start getting this little center area. Yep, a shadow box, exactly, Perna. Luella says, my sister has a large doily mounted. Oh, cool. So how did she do that? So, and it'd be interesting. I'd love to do a tatted doily at some point too. It has it's interesting because it has a slightly different look, but from like far away, or like someone who wouldn't know, who doesn't crochet and doesn't tat, would think it's like the same craft, I think. But it's such a different process in my brain. I mean, you are still working with the same kind of thread and like small little tools, I suppose, the shuttle or the little crochet hook, but the motions and the just what you're doing is completely different. At least if you're doing with the shuttle, the tatting shuttle. That the motion of a tatting shuttle, like sliding it under the one thread and sliding it back like past your fingers, like dental floss almost. I think that's kind of a nice way of thinking about it. That is a motion that had never occurred to me from knitting and crochet. So I think that's why it took me so long to understand tatting. It's because I never knew that as a motion. Oh, your sister mounted her large doily on black velvet and framed it. That's gotta be pretty. Oh, she attached it with some small stitches. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh yes, Sharon, keep doing it and keep sharing the tatting. I've like I said, I haven't gone beyond just this beginner little bit here, but I know there's the chain stitches and the rotating your work and all that, and I haven't done any of that yet, and I want to give all that secondary, like just like one step further than what we did. I want to give that a try yet. I really have been just itching to sit down and tat, though. That'd be so much fun. Oh, Elna says, I've crocheted many of those and given as gifts to family members. Ugh, that's awesome. I don't think, unless you're a crafter, I don't think you can appreciate how much time goes into one of those doilies. Like, it's insane. Like, whenever I see one at at a Goodwill or like the Value Village is what's near us, it's not manufactured in some way, like it's actually crocheted. I just can't believe that, it's like 50 cents or $1 or something, and I'm like, oh my god, like 300 plus hours or whatever must have gone into that. Oh, Elna, is that tatting? So this is tatting, but when I'm talking about the doily, I am talking about a crocheted doily. I should bring those out again sometime to share. We're just kind of comparing a little bit the crocheted and tatting. So I've done a bunch of crochet doilies. So that's what my grandma did. And then my great grandma on the other side had that one tatted piece that we have framed. That's like a bunch of these, like maybe 20 of these, all connected. Very similar to this, probably not exactly this pattern, but similar, like those little kind of flowers, and they were all kind of connected. So that's the only tatted piece that I know of in the family, and I've never, I never saw her do any tatting. I actually am a little surprised because I didn't know that side of the family really did much crafting. Although she did make crocheted blankets, so I guess so she was crafty. But the other side of the family, my mom's side of the family, at least my grandma in my head just was always crocheting or knitting or doing something. Ugh, Elna, I'm sorry to hear that. All right, this is kind of nice, just getting this center done, because now I can weave in the backs of these stitches. Oh, I got a lot of thread left yet. I might actually finish this center. I can weave into the backs of these stitches to start the text once we're that far. Oh my god, I can't grab onto the needle. There we go. Oh, interesting. Kimberly says I have a pattern that makes a Christmas tree angel out of doilies that are rolled and starched. Huh. I can picture that. Although what came into my head when I read that was the cheesecloth ghosts that we used to make when we were little, or we made it like once, but I just remember it with my mom, where you make like a ghost out of tinfoil and then you just put starched cheesecloth over the top of it and let it dry. Ugh, they're the best ghosts ever. It's the best ghost decoration. So you have that just like that stiff ghost. You take after it's dried, you take the tinfoil out from underneath, and then it's just like this airy, floaty ghost. That's what I thought of when you mentioned that doily. Oh yes, please go ahead and post it on the Penguin and Fish Crafters group for sure. I'd love to see it. See the doily angel. All right, one more little line here. And then I'll probably just start whichever is closest, which will be that one. Although I don't have that much more thread left, so maybe we'll end this thread with this little center bit. We'll see how far we get. So let's see. Today is, oh, good, it's not Wednesday. Yeah, no. It's Tuesday still, right? I think it's just Tuesday, so I'm just trying to think of the progress on here. I'm shooting for getting this done on Friday. So we'll be doing it like an hour every day here. I'm just trying to think, will that happen or not? So today we did, and we have time yet, so we did a little bit of this white, at least 2 of these. Let's say we get 1 more done. So I don't know, maybe we can get, geez, maybe we'll be done early. So let's pretend that maybe I can get a good half of these done tomorrow. So that'll be Wednesday. Then like Thursday, what if we got this and all the text done, and I can probably start on these? Oh dang, yeah, we're gonna get done by Friday for sure. Awesome, that's great. That's a theory, I suppose, still, but I think we'll get close. All right, I don't have that much floss left. I kind of just want to start fresh. I hate wasting it. I'm going to do like a couple more stitches here. So I'm just going to jump up here. It's the closest prong or whatever. We still haven't figured out the snowflake anatomy, like the term for this. It's prong now, I guess. Crystal prong. Oh gosh, I don't think I have enough to do either of those single chain stitches. So I think I'm gonna let this be my last stitch. So I got a couple more stitches out of there, that's fine. I can get a few more. Usually I like doing the chain stitches before I stitch over the top of them with back stitches, but I don't want to waste the thread, which is just silly. I mean, I got oodles of floss. I don't need to worry about that, but it's just annoying when I have a little bit left. I can get a few more stitches out of it. There we go. 3 more stitches out of it. That makes me feel better. Maybe even 1 more. There. That's going to be my last one. Zoop. All right, let's weave in that end. It's pretty on the back too. 1, 2. Ooh, just enough thread. 3. Okay. I think we have a little bit of time yet to start another piece of floss. So that was our 2 sides. So now I gotta get 2 more. So this is 6-strand embroidery floss. Ugh, I'm just making a mess now. 6-strand embroidery floss, and we're just stitching with 3 strands. So I have to separate this into the 3 strands. So, ooh, let's snip a nice end. This is pretty fuzzy. All right, so I'm gonna just grab them one at a time. So separating one from the group and pull it right out. I just run my hand through the excess just so it straightens out again. 2 and 3. All right, so this piece is got 3 in now, so that'll be ready to use when we run out again. And then these 3, I'm just gonna place back together. Run my hand through that, and there we go. That piece is ready. And we'll just trim the ends just so they're all at the same point. That'll be easier to thread my needle. Ugh, my needle's getting away from me. All right, there we go. So I'm doing that pinch method. As I unpinch, throw that eye on top of there. Ooh, that didn't work very well. Let's squeeze them together again. The moment I see those threads, boop, right on through. There we go. Okay, I guess let's just, I mean, it's kind of silly. Why don't I just start where we left off over here? Then I can keep going around. Yeah, that's weird. That'd be silly to start here, I think, because if I work this way, then I have like 1 left, then I have like this solo one, and the next one I'd have to jump like way out here or something. So I'm going to start, I'm going to let that one be, and I'm going to start here and work my way that way, I think. So I'm going to weave in the backs of these white stitches, and we'll start right there. Okay, 1, 2, and the third one locks it in place. So this is my way of not having knots on the back, so I don't have, my thread can't catch on anything, so I'm not going to get like weird loops on the back from catching on knots. Like I'm not going to have like a knot here that I catch on and then, you know, I'm stitching and realize later that I got all this stuff that was caught on that knot. I'm never going to have that happen because there's nothing to catch on the back here. So that's why I like weaving in the ends like this. Okay, let's cruise through this feller. We got about 5 more minutes here tonight, I think. Oh yeah, I should get the thread conditioner out again and turn this into a scented embroidery. That would be good. We'll do that with the next thread. All right, so I'm just doing the back stitch again down this phalange, or what do we call it? This prong, this prong, crystal prong. I don't know what they're called. So we made progress today for sure. Got a lot of this blue in, got that white bit in the middle done. Feeling good about all of it. It'll be fun to do all these little French knots, I think. Oh, what is thread conditioner? So let me go grab some. I think there's, whoa, oh, it ran away from me. Oh, here we go. So my brother is making some. So my brother has a candle company, and he's testing out making some thread conditioner for me. So what it is, I mean, what he makes is, it's 100% beeswax. I've used this kind. So 100% beeswax, and then some like food grade beeswax, and then like cosmetic grade scents, basically some fragrances. And you just run your thread through it, and it helps hold together the threads. It adds basically a little coating to the thread, which protects it. But I just like doing it because it's yummy smelling. I think this is the more floral one, not the cookie flavored one. I should have used the cookie flavored one. I just grabbed one. So I like using them to make scented embroideries. So now this is going to have like this pretty floral scent, at least while I'm stitching on it. But it does, the scent does linger. So like if you went up to the embroidery and smelled it, it would smell. So we may be releasing some scented embroidery bundles at some point here. But yeah, we're still working on stuff for that. But yeah, so it just protects the thread a little bit from like the wear and tear of going through here, and it just smells yummy. So that's why I like it. But if you like Google thread conditioner, you'll find some. It's a lot of times beeswax and like coconut oil and stuff, and then I think there's a synthetic version too that's out there. I haven't tested a ton of them yet, but I do like these. They are yummy, yummy, yummy smelling. Oh, what are your artist friend swap projects? Oh, so I just got another, so we, my group of, like, who I used to work with, this group of women who are all artists, one of them put together, like, this art swap for, you know, from the middle of the year to the end of the year. So each one of us, there's 6 of us, and each one of us has a month. And we are giving each other, the other 5, a little piece of art that we make. So my month was It's November, October, September. So my month was September. August was the first month, and the person who started it did that month. And I sent out those little embroideries, those floral embroideries that we did, like the poppy and the gladiolus and all that. They're those embroideries that we did a few months ago. So I did get one more in the mail like a couple days ago of this tiny little watercolor painting, a frame. So it was a white frame about this big with this little watercolor landscape in it. And I just love it. I put it up on our mantle with some other art that we have there, but this itty bitty painting, watercolor landscape. So I don't actually know if that was for October or November. I'm gonna have to look at our like group email to see whose month was who. So either someone forgot a month. So either it's like September, or either October person didn't do it, or I didn't get one, or this November one was October really late. I'm not sure. So I did get one other one. Is that the November one, that little watercolor one. So it's just so sweet. It was a fun project to be a part of for sure. I'm gonna just jump over here and we're gonna get these lazy daisies here. But yeah, so that was 2. So I should be getting 3 more by the end of the year, basically. But it was a fun project. Nice to have those nice ladies that that I can just do that fun art stuff with. And they still keep me around, which is nice. I kind of just stick to myself, and I'm pretty introverted and stuff, so it's nice that they still include me on things. Oh God, I'm the worst. So it was very nice to be invited to do that with them. They're all just so wonderful and sweet. All right, our last little lazy daisy stitch, and I do have enough thread to keep going a little bit longer down this line. So, we're a little bit over. I think I'm just gonna go till this thread's done. I don't think that'll take very long at all. And then we will call it a night, and we'll jump on this tomorrow. Man, what if we finish this by Thursday? That'd be cool. Then we could have Friday to do something with this. Like maybe we do have time to turn this into either an ornament or a tree topper. I like the tree topper idea. I'll have to think that through. Otherwise, we'll do that like the last week of the month. Last week is always like a free month. Although Thanksgiving is coming up. I'm gonna have to, that's like next week already. Oh wait, yeah, next week is the last week. Oh, so we could just probably continue this. I forget, like we used to have a project that would be like the last week or the week after this week. But now it's a free week. We don't do that project anymore, so we could just continue this right away and do the tree topper. Ooh, we might do that. I think that'd be fun. So I'm gonna have to think through how I'd construct that yet. All right, a couple more stitches here. I won't have enough to do these lower lazy daisy stitches, so I think we'll just get a few extra back stitches here, maybe one more after this one, and that will be that, and we'll pick it up on those lazy daisy stitches tomorrow. Yep, that's enough floss there, so I'm gonna flip it over again. We'll weave in the end. Thanks, Carlitos. I sometimes try and match my floss or my nails to the project I'm working on. This is the closest I get. I really only have like 4 nail polish colors right now, and they're all kind of getting gooky again. It's time to get a fresh palette, I think. Maybe that'll be a Christmas present to myself, just a new nail polish. But this is like a cool color, so I figured it kind of fit still. All right, I'm going to snip that off, and here we go. Oh, let's flip it right side up. So there, we did quite a bit tonight. So we finished a little bit of the white patch here, the little white chain stitch, and we did all of these little blue areas. That's pretty good. So let's see, we did 4. Let's call it like 5 if you include that. 5 tonight plus another one of these, so let's call it 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we should at least be able to get that done tomorrow. I suspect we might even be able to finish the other 2 tomorrow. Dang, we are cruising through this. That's awesome. So after that, we'll probably do the little Winter Love text, and that's the same color as some of these little satin stitch things, so we might just get all that done. And then we have a pile of French knots, and then a few more satin stitch things there. So yeah, I think, gosh, we'll probably still be working on it on Friday. I think that's kind of maybe a little much for just 2 more days. We'll see. But all right. So that is the progress for tonight, everyone. So we will continue this again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So thanks again, and I'm super excited about this. I keep wanting to say cake topper. This tree topper idea. I think that might be a fun thing to do with this project when we're done. So that'll probably be next week. We'll see how that goes. All right. Have a great evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.